You get the fresh, bright fruit flavors, and then as those brandies age, they get more into the dried fruit flavors.
So now this next one is a full alcohol drink. We're playing with Armagnac as the base. Let's talk about Armagnac. Let's talk about flavors and aromas, how you chose this recipe. It's all really interesting, and I would love to understand better about this. It's a drink that I'm enjoying, but it was more of a discovery for me, and I'd love to understand it better.
When we launched the grapefruit and sea salt a couple of years ago, the obvious drink was the Paloma, right? Grapefruit and sea salt, tequila, soda water. You've got a fresh Paloma in seconds. It's delicious. It's great. It's easy. It's obvious. Then you've got other things like the brown derby and several other. There aren't that many great grapefruit drinks that people know. So how else are we going to use this? So I explored more culinary combinations of what other flavors mix with grapefruit. And quite frankly, two books that I use all the time. Oh, they're out in my garage bar. Are the Flavor Bible and the Flavor Matrix. And the Flavor Bible, just looking at grapefruit, and you look at all the different things that pair with grapefruit, and fig came up, and I had just gotten these Lieber and Company syrups. And so I had the fig syrup, and I believe they're probably the only company that makes a fig syrup, and it's delicious. And so I came up with this drink. So I'm going to have a cocktail shaker. I'm going to put 2 ounces of brandy. VSOP is what I put on the recipe. A VS to VSOP are going to be your best options for cost. Obviously, a VSOP has an older brandy base, and that's where I think you want to go. Because, with young brandies, young cognacs and armagnacs and other great brandies, you get the fresh, bright fruit flavors. And then as those brandies age, they get more into the dried fruit flavors. And so I like VSOP because we're in that midpoint where we're getting lots of the dried fruit flavors instead of that bright, fresh fruit. But I think both work well. And I have with me today a VS Armagnac from Castered. And so that's what I'm using. So it was between this and I had a bottle of Argonaut from Gallo. But I think I'm in the mood for Armagnac today. So I'm going to use this. So point is, you can use any aged brandy you want in this, but grape in particular was meant to go well with this combination. And that was my first thought, because I'm a cognac educator. I also work for the BNIC. And when I thought fig, I thought brandy, I thought cognac. And that's like my go-to connection. So that became the base spirit for this. Now, the grapefruit and sea salt, that 1-to-1 formula, I'm going to put my 2 ounces of that in there. And then simple ½ ounce of fig syrup. Then give that a good shake. It's going to be quite viscous with that syrup in there. So this one, anytime you're adding syrup, you can stir, you can build this drink, you can stir it, you can drink it on the rocks. I just think that this is the best way to do it. You get the proper dilution level for me, and it makes for a nice, elegant drink. And it is kind of the tail end of fig season, peak fig season in some areas. So you can get nice fresh figs, which I had some yesterday, and believe it or not, and I ate them. So I don't have a fresh fig today, but I do have dried figs in the house. So I took a dried fig like this, and I just cut it in half the long way, and then I put a nice little slit in the back so I can rest it right on my edge and that way you can see the colors of the fig from the section, but it sits. You could also just float it in there. And of course, you're making drinks at home. You don't really need to garnish. Unless it makes, I like garnishing my own drinks, especially on a Friday night or Saturday night. It makes it feel special, a little bit more of an occasion. But if it's late and I just want to drink, I'm not going to bother garnishing. Cheers. What do you think of that? All right, cheers. I hope you all have a great holiday season, and thank you all for being here with us today and joining us. We've been doing this every year for the last few years, and we'll do it again next year. Maybe we'll throw in a summer version.